Welcome, everyone. Another episode of Drink While You Think. I'm your host, Kenji, and
I'm Matthew.
And this episode of Drink While You Think is sponsored by Chargeover.
You too.
Yeah.
You too can sponsor an episode of Drink While You Think. We are very inexpensive. You send us beer of your choosing, and we will drink it on the air, and we will shout out your firm as many times as possible.
Yeah.
Our friends at Chargeover provided us today's beers. So we thank you guys at Chargeover. Not only are they cool folks and came as guest hosts, they supplied us with beer for the foreseeable future. But if you want to get in line, start sending us beers. Remember, you'll get in line sooner if you send us a porter or a stout. How about that? That was totally unplanned. That's awesome. Okay.
That's awesome.
What are you drinking? Which Chargeover beer are you drinking today?
I will say real quick. Again, I was so happy when they sent us all this information, having Ryan on. We actually do use these guys for all of our billing solutions. So check them out. They purpose-built a billing solution for their invoicing, recurring stuff, specifically for QBO and for Xero. So they kind of built it for accounting systems. So it's very cool. We really do recommend them to use them, and they're awesome folks. Thank you, Chargeover, for being our sponsor and giving us beer. So I'm going with, this is the Coastal Sunshine.
Okay.
It's a fruited smoothie sour. It uses lactobacillus. What that is?
No, but I drank that one already.
It's one that it creates a sour beer. So I'm kind of excited to try it out. It's always kind of different. So you already had it. Don't tell me anything yet until I have some, because I don't want to be.
Oh, okay. I was going to tell you something about it.
I'm gonna pour it.
You pour it.
And you can tell us about what you're drinking while I do my pour.
Okay, and I'm drinking the Rare Triple IPA. And since I'm not an IPA person, how I chose the Rare out of the things that our friends at Chargeover sent us was it was the highest in ABV.
One of those days, huh?
So this is a 10%er. So here we go.
This one, mine's a 6%er. Look at that, like that's super cloudy. They say it's like a fruited smoothie sour. That is interesting.
Cheers.
Whoa, cheers, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool sour. That is super unique. This would be a good one for, if you don't like anything bitter or hoppy, like Matthew's drinking right now, that's crazy hoppy. And you like orange juice, you like something really juicy, this is it. It's got passion fruit, orange, and guava. And they got a bunch of different versions of these. And this is from Forager. Mine's from Forager. I think yours is from the other brewery they sent from. It's an M, I think.
Black Stack.
Black Stack? Maybe, yeah.
Black Stack Brewing.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Okay. This is Forager down in Rochester, Minnesota. Oh, yeah, you betcha. So anyway, thank you again, Chargeover, for the good beer.
Cheers. What do you got on top of us, man? What are we talking about?
What did you think of it when you had it?
That's my favorite one that they've sent so far.
Is it really? I can tell.
It was just like I threw it in there. I decided to drink it the other day, and I was like, oh, this will be a lot different, and it's the highest likelihood of one that I wouldn't like online. Like I didn't want to have they sponsored and they sent crappy beers. So I tried it, and it was my favorite one so far. I was like, it was pretty good.
It's like orange juice. I mean, it's like hard to believe this has alcohol in it.
I was really impressed that they got a beer to taste like that. That was part of it. It was just, and I like the sours. So that's
some sours are a little much for me. Oh, wow, it's got a lot in the bottom. I think it's almost chunky in there.
All right, that's probably like fruit.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, what do I got in tap? We're gonna go pretty quick because I think we want to speed these along a bit. We have a couple things for you today. First one, kind of in accounting news. Did you see that Xero made an acquisition?
I did not.
So they acquired Planday, which is it's a scheduling kind of attendance staffing software. It reminds me a little bit of Deputy, which is, I know them because they're here in Atlanta. And so I thought that was interesting. It's out of Europe. The largest clients that Planday has, Planday says that the scheduling tools kind of for food service, hospitality types of businesses.
Interesting.
Interesting also is it's their largest acquisition they've made. I think previous to this, when they did a hub doc, that was 70 million. This one's about 250 mil in that ballpark. So
Yeah, if they did with stock though, they've got that appreciated stock, so it's about the same number of
it
stock
was
shares
actually,
that the hub doc guys.
it was more,
Probably less.
it was more cash than stock.
It was more cash than stock.
It was
Okay.
evenly split if the numbers, if I had accurate numbers looking at it. So
Well, I bet if the hub doc guys took stock, they're worth more than the guys.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, good for the Jamies and the whole hub doc team. We like those guys a lot back in hub doc. But yeah, it's interesting thinking about plan day, like what Xero's strategy is. In some sense, I don't know. I don't think it competes with T-Sheets. Maybe it does somewhat. Maybe that's Xero trying to, I think with the new CEO, I was kind of wondering if we were going to start seeing more acquisitions kind of go. But they really haven't done much. It's interesting, not in the US. Like this is a European, like this is Planday is a pretty strong European player. So I wonder if they're really kind of digging in what they're kind of doing, right?
Yeah, they're getting into the ops side. Yep.
Outside, I guess this scheduling and staffing kind of threw me off a little bit though. That wasn't the natural path I thought they'd go.
But remind me, they do have payroll international, just not US, right?
I think so. Well, they have in Australia. I don't know what they have over in Europe. They're also strong in some of Asia, so it could be there could be a path to that too. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I think it would be cool to see again. Xero or QBO has been pretty active, and Intuit's been pretty active. Xero kind of ramped it up as well. I also wonder if this is now we're starting to see Steve Amos kind of starting to, he's probably made some changes internally, and now starting to do, putting his thumb on it a bit, like we're going to go more corporate development style and get a little bit after he's kind of made his changes. So I don't know, that was kind of interesting. That was one of the bigger ones, but it didn't make a lot of news. I just happened to pick that up past week. So we'll have to keep an eye on if that ends up coming to the US more or what they're doing here, because Xero's been kind of quiet in the US.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, we're going to play, PPP updates.
PPP updates.
You sent me an update. You sent me an email while I was out last week or on vacation. Like you sent me one. Can you remember what you sent me or any kind of highlights from it?
Oh, I didn't read it because you've been doing
I knew it. I was like, he's sending me PPP updates in an email, which we never email each other except if we're forwarding something along like you did. I'm like, he knows I'm not going to read this when I'm on vacation. I'm out skiing last week and all this. So I knew you didn't read it either, but
you did read it.
I did. You didn't.
I know, but you've taken that over. Like I don't have to do that. That's a great thing about having a business partner, man.
So I did skim through it and look for anything that was kind of interesting. There's a few things in there, right? They're doing, they're making it easier for companies of under 20 employees to kind of expedite, put them in front of the line. That makes some sense. I think they're looking at maybe extending the program a little bit longer. But here's something I found interesting. Okay. We're going to play a little game here. I'm going to do, I always like it when I mess with you and play some games. So, PPP.
Okay.
You see this?
Oh, wow.
I want you in terms of percent. Okay. So this is for the original PPP 1. And I'm not going to, I don't know if you remember the dollar amounts, right? I think it was like 550 or 60, something like that, billion.
Okay.
There. So just think in terms of percentage, right? I'm giving you 4 categories for all the PPP 1 loans. And I want you to do your best with just estimating what percent have been forgiven, what percent not forgiven, like they have said, nope, denied. Which ones have not been, who hasn't submitted and received, they haven't been received yet, and how many are under review? Just give me
important question. In dollars or units or the percent?
You can use either one. I looked at both of them. They're pretty equivalent. They're not material enough to worry about.
Okay. So I would think that messes me up then. Okay, I'm gonna start with not received.
Okay, I like how you're going for this. Okay, not how many.
Okay, not received is gonna be like, it's gonna be like, man, I want to say 70%, but I'm gonna go against my gut and I'm gonna go like 50% not received.
Okay.
Under review, 5%, not forgiven, 5%, and then forgiven 30%.
Okay, you ready? You ready to see the results here?
Yeah.
Okay.
How'd I do?
Quick unhide. Pretty good. Holy cow, actually really good. Look at that. So,
oh, not forgiven. That doesn't surprise me. I almost went 1% on not forgiven.
not forgiven. I mean, like, look at it. Almost like, I think it showed something like 500 million. It was really low. I mean, it's very small percentage. I mean, very, very small percentage.
Man, that's way more under review than I thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
15% under review currently. I mean, it could be a waiting period. You were actually really freaking close on this.
Yeah, if I'd have thought it through, I would have said 1% on not forgiven.
Yeah.
To 0.1% not forgiven. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, almost everything has gotten through. But I mean, look how many you were right. Like when you were thinking like 70-ish%, like so many people haven't even put it through yet.
Yeah, if you did it on the like dollar amount, I think the dollar amount would have been higher. I think the bigger guys are waiting. So
yeah, there were a couple of these were off by more than a couple percent, but yeah, there was closer than I thought. So interesting, kind of on PPP. Most
awesome.
people have not pushed it.
I always like when I do well on your games. It always frustrates you.
I don't go too many games up against you because you're pretty savvy when it comes to some of these things there. So that's interesting on PPP. That's kind of what's going on. And I guess the third thing I had to talk about, and this could probably take a little bit longer, which is good because we've got a little bit of some time. I was thinking about something after this week, and that is, and we've talked about it a bit before on Drink What You Think. And that is, here's my premise. If you're an accounting firm, and you're probably not a top 100 firm, you should be collaborating with other firms all the time, like all the time. Like it should just be like you're doing it wrong if you're not like, and I thought of that because I just looked at my week and how many other firms I've talked to, and I'm not saying I'm right, but like everyone I talk to, and I think about all the different organizations and different people out there trying to pull people together. Like there's a huge benefit in talking to their firms. And so I guess one thing I wanted to ask you about was talk to me about Lazanis's future firm accelerator that you've been doing. I want to hear more about
it. Oh yeah. First of all, I think I highly recommend it as a thought exercise for everybody. So I joined Ryan Lazanis, good guy. A lot of smaller firms are in it. A couple of big firms have entered recently, or like individuals at big firms, but I've got my packet right here. Been going through kind of the thought exercises of kind of like just thinking through different stuff he has a roadmap that I literally printed out because my eyes are getting bad. And, but it's been really interesting. I was cautiously optimistic as I went in because we're a little bit bigger at kind of the value. But it's really stretched my thinking on kind of well, first of all, Ryan's great about kind of aligned with us about setting your business goals after you set your personal goals, like figuring out the so what, like what are you trying to be and all that kind of stuff first. And then building a business that supports that as opposed to letting the business wag the dog on that side. But great alignment on that. And then just kind of good thought exercise. He tends to just think really similarly to the way we think, I think generally. And but he's a little bit more methodical. So he's articulated his vision a little better on paper. And even if I don't think it's like exactly what I want to do, it's like directionally in the right direction. I think people would be, just like anything, like something's better than nothing. And he's giving accounting firm owners a something, which is a huge step for accounting firm owners. So if you're looking for something, he's got a something out there and I like it.
And is it right now so far been mostly you following that process, or how much has been in interacting with other firms, or is that not really part of the program, or will that come later, or how much?
So the way his thing is set up is that there's a program to walk through, and he has 4 plan phases, and he's launched 2 of them. And the first one is just like a introduction, and the second one is kind of like a baseline setting. And then there's like a component where you kind of share with the community and you go back and forth. And then there's a component where and I'm in the lowest tier. I'm just in the member tier. There's a component where you can have group sessions and ask Ryan questions and anything in live sessions. I haven't been able to attend the live sessions because you've seen my calendar.
Yeah.
And but I have gone back and watched some of the live sessions because he does record them and do kind of stuff like that. But I think the community part's great. You can crowdsource thing. I've answered some questions for some people on like what we do. If that's interesting for people, I don't know. Or like I'm trying to be a little bit measured because, I can be kind of obnoxious and opinionated. So I've tried to be kind of measured in my interactions on the community. Some people are loud, some people are not. I'm trying to be kind of in the middle road kind of there. But it's just been interesting to see the dynamic there.
Yeah. It's interesting. You talked about Ryan thinking like we do in the sense of crafting your kind of own personal vision first and the business one around it. I just had that conversation this morning with Amanda Aguilar, and who's, I think, our record holder for who's been on Drink What You Think the most, and is probably the most popular guest on here just because she's just awesome. Everybody loves Amanda. But we were talking about that exact concept of us striking out and creating our own firms for that reason of like, we wanted some independence, we wanted some freedom to kind of do things that fit within whatever vision we were crafting. So it's interesting to hear that more people are kind of going that direction. And I think it's great to be in community that helps support that, right? And so, I mean, yeah, that's a good example. Amanda, we were doing an accounting salon podcast, or launching that now. That's a great community. PASBA, which we know, folks, you've been a little bit part of some of the PASBA community.
Great community, just phenomenal.
There's Fearless Foundry, Madeline's group is a great community to be part of. Thrival, it's been around a long time. That's kind of the OGs of almost kind of small accounting community, good folks there. And I think I heard that
EO Accounting.
EO Accounting, yeah. So Entrepreneurs Organization. That's
has an accounting subset.
15,000 entrepreneurs. We have a subset of just us who run accounting practices there. So I've got outside of like 1, 2, 3, I must have 4 or 5 different kind of small groups of communities. It just got me thinking, like, you need to, I would really encourage firms to get out there because it helps you a ton. You reshape your thinking, sharing. Some of these go in the depth of like, you're talking financials. I mean, that may be a little bit too freaky for some people, but we always like it. Like, hey, here's what our numbers look like. Here's what our margins look like. Some are a little bit more coaching style. I mean,
yeah, the PASBA was crazy transparent when so I did 2. So I've done the one with Ryan. I'm just in the second month with the Ryan Lazanis's Accelerate group. And then the PASBA one was a crazy deep dive, right? So for me, so that was like, you share full financials, you share all the things, you really get challenged. Like, to me, huge benefits came out of, and that one kind of framework is a meet twice a year. And it was for kind of like a half day for a full week. So 5 half days in a row, where everybody's kind of presenting their thing. That was phenomenal. I got a lot of stuff out of that. I think of just like how we think, what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right, that kind of stuff. And I think the same thing with the Accelerate group. The nice thing, I think, from our size with the Accelerate group is like, the biggest risk we have is somebody coming along and just passing us by. And like, when you got a small firm, you got nothing to lose. Like, everybody says, oh, you guys, like, we get a lot of the times, I don't know, you probably get it more than me because you talk to so many, you're so much more out there than I am with Acuity, is I hear people tell you all the time, oh, you have such a great firm and blah, 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 blah. But with size comes like this stagnation, and you got to be really mindful and watch it. And they have the benefit of being able to be really nimble and change in a whim and do the new thing. And, you know,
Yeah, I had, it's funny, I had heard, well, I'll call her out because I think she'd be okay with it. And she's awesome. But Brittany Brown, she got a shout out from another firm member this week in some kind of in a community I'm in about hitting 50 employees, right? And it was funny because some people were like, "That's amazing, Brittany," like, right? And other people were like, "That sounds awful, Brittany." Like, and so it resonated, right? It resonates because people, when they hear that we're over 100, they're, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." And it's kind of a number that you and I have said, like it kind of triple digits kind of attracts, it's eye popping a bit, and it kind of signifies some things, but it does signify, one thing it signifies is a lot of complexity. I mean, a lot of complexity, a lot of moving pieces, stuff that we'd have to deal with. I can imagine being in there with some smaller firms. You're like, there's got to be some jealousy of like, oh man, you guys are so nimble and can turn on a dime. And when I heard Brittany, I need to reach out to her and congratulate her, but also like probably console her a little bit. Like, I'm like, yeah, now it's not as nimble. It's a little more complicated, but I don't know. Depends on what firm owners want. So
yeah. Yeah. With it comes complexity. And, we just, it feels like, I don't know about you. I feel a lot of pressure to be better. Like we had 2 client issues with what was the clients have determined to be controller issues last week. But when I look at them, like it's all infrastructure issues, right? It's
not a
like
people.
both deals I had sold instead of Tyler. So it went through a bad onboarding process that primarily stemmed from me. Like, like it, it's terrible when every problem you can wind back to yourself. Like in a company, because when you have 100 people, like I can follow the problem all the way back to myself every time.
I,
So I almost I still need to. I probably ain't gonna do this. Is gonna reach out to the controller and just apologize and
well,
just say I totally set these 2 clients up wrong, like completely. And I don't know if it's predictable anymore. Just so everybody on the watching knows, all 4 of you, they're called Matthew specials. When I close a client now, like it's just there's a term for it at Acuity, and like, man, you just got to get out of your own way. But I was trying to help. One was our freaking neighbor at ATV, like our next door neighbor. Like I was trying to help them, and then another one was a past client that was trying to do something. I was trying to get them help really fast, and that meant everything got jacked, and it stemmed to like all things came back to me. Unfortunately, there was one controller that was on both of them that took the brunt in front of me. So I got to reach out to her next week.
always, the buck always stops with the firm owner, with us. And there's a million, not just Matthew, but Kenji specials, and it happens to me too. But I think the difference being that it hurts so much more now is when that stuff happens, like when it used to happen, you're like, yep, that's on me, but it's also only affecting me. Like I was the controller or the CFO doing the work, like that I sold. And when you're smaller, you're less likely to impact that many other people who are just trying their best to kind of do something. And now it's a lot harder because you're right. It all comes back to us, and you see it like, oh man, I just put that person through the ringer because
Yeah.
not because
Well,
I meant to, but I just didn't. I don't want to. I still think in that like super nimble process. Oh, we can just do it. And they know what I'm thinking, and no, the people don't know what we're thinking, and they don't. We haven't explained it, and so anyway.
well,
That's a good reason to be around other firms talking through those issues, because especially if you don't have a business partner who will get on and drink beer with you in the afternoon, you need somewhere to vent and get an outlet. So
for sure. You definitely need somebody to tell you you're not crazy. That's what I think.
Let's rate some beers. I'm
Okay.
excited to rate this one. Let me pull up our screen and get our things up here. I've got mine pulled up already.
Mine's called Rare from Blackstack.
Okay, you'll have to remind me here again. But yeah, this Coastal Sunshine. I mean, that is such a great name for this. Like, this is just a glass of sunshine, a glass of freaking sunshine. Tropical fruited sour ale. This is awesome. I really like this. I'm going to give this a, this is probably one of the best sours I've ever had.
I told you. I mean, I was like, I was so surprised. I was such a great.
It's really a good sour. And so let's see here. Too many accounts here.
And you're the only person in America with 3 untapped accounts.
And I still can't get logged in. Oh, crap.
Oh, you did it wrong.
I can't even type it right. There we go. See if this does it. This doesn't do it manually and not make people suffer. No, I'm not a robot.
Way to go.
Yay, man. Okay, so of course it went away. Coastal, what was it called?
Sunshine.
Sunshine. And I had to look it up. It's version, I think, look how many different versions they have. This one is V9. No, sorry, V9. There we go. And I'm going 425.
I'm going to approve that. I'm going to approve that message.
All right, and you have got, I asked you that something again.
I've got Rare from Black Stack.
There it is. Oh yeah, oops, crap. I almost grabbed the same one too.
I was going to change if you got the same one as me.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Not that one.
Medium.
Medium.
That right there. I'm super curious about how you're going to rate this, because I know this is not your triple.
I'm going with a 4.
Whoa.
It's a really positive IPA for me. Like is
it not too bitter? Pretty fruity, kind of, but not too bitter.
It's not fruity. It's not too bitter though.
Wow. Look at this, man. What a good day. What a good Friday to end the week. We're both finishing in the 4s on our beers from our
everybody should use Chargeover.
Everybody should use Chargeover. These guys know their beer, and they sure as hell know how to process some payments. So use Chargeover. Good to be back. It's been a couple weeks. Good to see you again, man. And
yeah, I'm glad you had a good vacation. I'm glad we can take off doing videos and not feel guilty about it. That's come a long way. We used to feel guilty about missing, but we're living our lives. We're doing what we can do.
Gotta live our lives. So, but again, anybody else wants to live your life with us? Cost you. Send us a few beers. Come on and talk to us, and you're in. You are a new sponsor. If you ever wanted to sponsor anything, you could sponsor whatever you want. We'll be the sponsor for your kids' soccer team or your software company, whatever you want. Just your birthday, you want to sponsor, whatever you want. Just send us a beer. We'll do it.
Yep. We'll shout out whatever you guys want to recognize here.
Anyway, thanks. Subscribe. Send us some comments. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
See you guys. Cheers.